I am really happy to present you a new manhwa today, but before that, please don't forget to subscribe and drop a like. The manhwa starts with two men in an office. The blonde man, the protagonist of this story, who seems to be the employee, asks his boss for 2 days off, as he has a family emergency. He also promises to work extra when he returns, in order to recover the lost time. The boss, while scrolling some app, states that the new short drama department is understaffed, and they cannot offer time off, unless it's a special circumstance, like a wedding or funeral. The blonde man begs his boss to make an exception as his mother was hospitalized, and she needs someone to take care of her. With a lot of indifference, the boss answers that the father or any other relative should take care of the sick mother. It's just an illness, so it's not that urgent. If it becomes critical, then he can ask for time off. Sacrifices are necessary in order to climb the corporate ladder. The boss said that he worked even during his father's funeral, and that's how he managed to get to his position. The company cannot function if everybody takes time off for every little thing. Young people are too sensitive in these days. In the media industry, the most important thing is timing. If you aren't the first to break the news, then you don't matter. And right now, one employee threatens the performance of the entire department. The protagonist stated that he can work from home and stay in touch at all times, but the boss had enough. He said that we won't persuade the man in front of him and will just let him go. This way, he will have plenty of time to spend with his parents. He then emphasized that the blonde man is a graduate from a third-tier university, and he works for the biggest media company from Sang City. Even graduates from first-tier universities are considered least qualified to work for such a good company, so he should be lucky to have this job. That's why Xingwang should be grateful to have such an amazing job, and should also stop thinking about taking time off and work harder. This position won't wait, so it's better to think well before asking for a leave of absence. A bit later, while the protagonist, Xingwang, was enjoying a cigarette, he received a call. It was his father, who asked if he will have time to come back. At the same time, a nurse asked the protagonist's father, "Mr. Hang, when will he be able to pay for the medical bills of Ms. Zhou, as they already offered too many delays, and it's becoming a problem for the hospital?" Mr. Hang answered that he will be able to pay in a couple of days. Clearly annoyed, the nurse said that she heard these words too many times, and if the payment is not settled this time, the patient will be discharged. Xingwang heard the conversation over the phone, and told his dad that he will join him in a couple of days and also help with the medical bills. The father said that his son shouldn't worry and that he already borrowed some money from relatives and friends. Plus the medical insurance should also cover a part of the costs. Xingwang insisted that he will pay for the medical bills, and his father shouldn't borrow from the relatives. Mr. Hang stated that his son just graduated, and the living expenses are high in Sang City. There is no way to save much money. Also, if it's hard to come back, Xingwang should stay, and not force himself. But the protagonist was adamant to help because he had some money saved up. He worked for the last year and a half on a salary of 5,000 yuan, but managed to save a lot because he shared his living space with others, ate cheap food, and even made extra money by editing videos. That's how he was able to save 50,000 yuan, which should cover his mother's medical bills for a while. Knocking on the HR's department door, Xingwang realized that in the 20 years he's been alive, he's never done something this reckless. There are plenty of jobs and opportunities, so his parents take priority. He decided to resign. After all, this is just a crappy job in an inhumane company. 20 minutes later, the protagonist was officially unemployed. But now, reality started to settle in. He was thinking that the job market isn't at its best, and the economy is struggling. Quitting your job without another one lined up is really reckless. At that moment, a notification showed up in his head. 88,888 yuan were deposited into your account. Xingwang got surprised. He was unable to understand what's going on. Another message showed up, saying that he should check his reward money in his account, and that the more he indulges, the more money he will get. He then received a message from the bank, confirming that the 88,888 yuan were truly transferred into his account. The protagonist was doubting the situation as it might be a scam, but it's an official message from the bank. Then another notification appeared, saying that the system was awakened. Staring intently at the messages from his bank, the protagonist still couldn't believe what was happening. The ultimate freedom system seems to have activated when he quit his job. The money in the bank account are real, so this is actually happening. He also started to grasp the idea behind the activation of the system. Xingwang got pulled out of his own thought by a beautiful sight. It was Gao Wen, asking if the operation plan for the upcoming live stream is ready. The protagonist was surprised, but more of her beauty than her sudden appearance. Unable to think, Faced by such a beauty, he didn't pay any attention to what she said, and asked for her to repeat herself. The beauty, noticing that the man in front of her is not paying any attention to what is she saying, asked if the protagonist finally has eyes for her, to which he answered that her sense of humor is still as active as ever. She then said that she wants more operational resources, as the top-paying fans are not as active and her income declined. This is Gao Wen, the top female internet celebrity for whom the protagonist used to manage the live stream operations online. She is known as the sexiest dance goddess, but in real life she is friendly and down to earth. She loves making jokes, which is both her strength and flaw. Xingwang apologized for not being able to take care of Gao Wen's influencer operations anymore. As he quit, the company will find a replacement for him. While packing his stuff, the protagonist was thinking that the beauty treated him well, because he was familiar with live stream operations, and also was easy to talk with. After quitting, everybody goes their own way and there is no need to hang on the past. The beautiful Gao Wen got close to the protagonist, and in a soft voice said that she doesn't want him to resign, as she prefers him to manage her because there is no one else she trusts as much. While thinking that she is too close, Xingwang answered that he already completed all the procedures to leave the company. Gao Wen was thinking that something is wrong because the protagonist would always play along when she would act cute. This is all too sudden. Then asked if Xingwang is sure about abandoning her. He then answered that he deserves a long vacation, thinking that he needs to resist her temptations. She then asked, which company does the protagonist think of joining next, as she would hate to become competitors. Plus, it will take a long time to get used to her new manager. Xingwang was having a hard time resisting to the beautiful goddess's provocations, but he had to resist the temptation, because with the help of the system he could become so rich that any woman would be at his feet. Taking a better look at the girl in front of him, the protagonist realized that she had a lot of plastic surgery done, and without hesitation, he told Gao Wen that she should have some cosmetic maintenance, as her nose seems a bit crooked. That completely surprised the beauty. How could her nose be crooked? Impossible. She took a small mirror and checked for herself. Upon checking, her nose was indeed a bit crooked. At the same time, a new system notification popped up. Xingwang was awarded 23,333 yuan for expressing his true thoughts, refusing to be a simp. The amount was also confirmed by a message from the bank. His account was growing at a really fast pace. The protagonist was really happy for gaining the system. This is true freedom. Gao Wen thanked Xingwang for letting her know about the crooked nose, and also stated that she will not try to stop him from leaving, as there might be other opportunities in the future to collaborate. Then wished him good luck. The protagonist was surprised that she didn't get mad for pointing out her flaw. He couldn't figure out if she's serious or if she's pretending. She then continued saying that they were colleagues for a long time, and also got along really well, so she wants to treat him to dinner. Also, if he's struggling to find a new job, to contact her because she knows a lot of people in the industry, and with his skills, there will be no issue for find him a new workplace. This made Xingwang think that the beauty in front of him knows about his low education, and is worried that he won't be able to find a job. She might actually be a good person, and all her previous words might have been genuine after all. He then said that the one who should be offering to pay for dinner is him. She tried to protest because his salary was low, but he added that now that he's leaving, he shouldn't be stingy. And as she said, if they collaborate in the future, this should be future payment for her help. With a cute smile on her face, Gao Wen said that now that he's leaving, she realizes that she doesn't know him as much as she would have liked. After packing all his stuff, the protagonist left his previous workplace. While walking, he remembered that he was always walking everywhere in order to save money. He would use public transport only if he couldn't walk, and would completely avoid taxis, unless it was absolutely necessary. But today, he will indulge and order the most expensive taxi. An expensive car has arrived and the driver kindly asked the protagonist to enter the car. Xingwang was really satisfied with the service. The car was beautiful. It arrived fast and the driver is super polite. Once inside the car, a new notification was triggered. Because the protagonist ordered a taxi without looking at the price, he was awarded with 50,000 yuan. The driver verified the destination and Xingwang confirmed that it's the Laoxi pancake shop. Once arrived at the destination, and exiting the car, the protagonist headed towards the pancake shop. The pancake seller, recognizing him, asked if he wants the usual pancake without egg and sausage. He answered that no, he wants 2 extra eggs as well as 2 pure meat sausages, and not the cheap starch sausages. When his salary was 5,000 yuan, He was spending 800 yuan on rent and not more than 20 yuan for food per day. A simple pancake is 8 yuan and he wouldn't dare to add anything extra. Today he spent a whopping 15 yuan on only one meal. This is the first time he can truly enjoy a meal without thinking about money. Everyone must be envious. And truly, everyone who heard him order his food became envious of him enjoying such a lavish meal. Once again, the system notification was triggered for successfully indulging. The protagonist was really happy to be able to enjoy a good meal, and was thinking that next time, he should order the pancake with 5 extra eggs. After finishing his meal, Xingwang remembered that, when he was a student, he couldn't afford any form of entertainment, and after he got a job, he also didn't have time to have fun. Because of this, now he doesn't even know what normal people do for fun. He then remembered, today he is going to eat dinner with Gao Wen at a nice restaurant. But expensive restaurants usually pay attention to how their customers dress. That's why he needs to go to the mall and buy some cool clothes. Once he arrived at the mall, he started to look around for the clothes stores. But because all the brand names were in English, he wasn't able to understand anything. So he started to look for the shops that he usually frequents. But he forgot again about the fact that now, he has money, so he should go the most expensive store he can find. Once arrived inside the Louis Vuitton store, the employees started to analyze his outfit in order to gain a sense of his worth. After seeing that his clothes and footwear are cheap and overused, they labeled him as a poor person, and all decided to completely ignore him. Upon seeing this, Xingwang, thinking that everyone in this store is a snob, asked in a loud voice if anybody is going to attend to him as he is tired from work and doesn't have time to browse. That's why he needs help spending 150,000 yuan on the best clothes they have. If nobody wants to help, he can just go to Hermes, next door. After hearing this, every store employee rushed towards the protagonist and offered to help. He was even offered tea to relax, while they show him their most suitable clothes. While leaving, Xingwang was thinking that money are indeed a very powerful tool. The service rich people receive in on another level. The store employees even help you carry your bags. While walking, the store employee asked the protagonist if he would like to participate at the jewelry appreciation event at the end of the month, to which he answered that we'll first see if he has time. She then asked if he wants her to deliver his bags to his residence. The protagonist refused, and after handing him the bags, the beautiful store employee said goodbye and left. Passing by 2 women, Xingwang noticed that they were talking about his clothes. They were saying that he had very expensive clothes, and that they couldn't afford to buy the same. At that moment another system notification popped up. This was the first time that the protagonist spent a large amount of money. That's why he received an even greater amount of money as a reward, 660,000 yuan. This made Xingwang realize again that the more money he spends, the more money he makes. Becoming a millionaire might not be that hard. Later in the evening, the protagonist arrived at the restaurant. He had a reservation to have dinner with Gao Wen. At the entrance, he was greeted by the hostess, who offered to take him to his private room. Xingwang explained that he arrived a bit early, to which the pretty hostess answered that the VIP room has separate area, where guests can rest and enjoy some desserts while they wait for their friends. While being escorted to the waiting room, the protagonist was thinking that the clothes indeed make the man, and that in the past, he never enjoyed such good treatment. Once arrived, the hostess informed Xingwang that he can serve himself with anything he wants, and if needs any other service, he can ring the bell. Then she wished him a great meal. The protagonist was attracted by the night view of Sang City. While enjoying the view from the 40th floor, he was thinking that as long as you have money, you can enjoy the best services. You can also reach heights that most other people cannot. The fantasies he had in his mind since he was a kid will finally become true. But first, he needs to send some money to his father. 100,000 yuan should be good for now. As excuse for how he can send such a big amount of money, he could say that he had a part-time job. Gao Wen was streaming and asking for people to send more rockets if they are enjoying her dance. She was also asking for her top fun to send some rockets for him to show his dominance. She was basically begging for more donations. While checking her stream, Xingwang was thinking that he sent the beautiful streamer the address of the restaurant, but she didn't answer yet. She probably will after the stream ends. On the stream, Gao Wen received a couple more rockets from her top fan, and then ended the stream wishing for everyone to return the next day. After finishing the stream, the beauty was really tired and rested for a bit. When two girls entered her studio asking if she wants to eat with them. The blonde is King and the redhead is Zinuo. Gao Wen answered that she already has plans, which made Zinuo ask if it's with a sugar daddy. The tired dance streamer answered that she shouldn't talk nonsense, because it's a guy they know. Xingwang, The two girls asked if is there something between the two of them, as they are having dinner together. Gao Wen answered that they shouldn't just make things up. They worked well together, and how that he resigned it's only right to have a meal together. Also, he will be treating. King asked if they can also join, to which she received a positive answer. But, since Xingwang will be treating them, they should eat something ordinary, and if it turns out to be expensive, they should pay themselves. The girls agreed with the conditions, but Xinhua was thinking that their former colleague is poor, and cannot even afford to eat pancakes with eggs. There is no chance he could afford an expensive restaurant. While wiping her sweat, Gao Wen told them that she will remove her makeup, and then meet up a bit later in the parking lot. Gao Wen offered to take the girls with her car to the restaurant, prompting King to say that it became harder to make money recently, and doesn't think that she'll be able to afford a car like her friend. The goddess said that she could start dancing on stream to make more money. King insisted that it's not for her. She doesn't have the stamina to dance from morning to evening. She's waiting for a kind-hearted fan to improve her financial situation. Xinhua stated that King should be happy with what she has, as it could have been a lot worse. The cute King wants to keep dreaming, and the redhead said that she can dream as much as she wants. Thinking that Gao Wen definitely didn't buy her luxury car by just dancing, she probably slept with all her top sponsors. Otherwise she couldn't have become the company's top 1 streamer. Then she asked where are they going to eat, and after checking, Gao Wen was shocked. Seeing this, Xinhua thought that the place must be extremely cheap. Gao Wen, still in shock, said that the name of the restaurant is Lingwai. It's a very famous 3 Michelin star restaurant. The food is expensive and it's very hard to get a reservation. King couldn't believe that Xingwang would invite them at such an expensive restaurant. Did the protagonist become rich, and that's also the reason for why he quit his job? Xinhua stated that it might be another restaurant near Lingwai, as some people check in at expensive restaurants on their social network profile while they are only in the vicinity. It's a famous way to show off. Gao Wen interjected that Xingwang would never do that. The girls decided to head out and see for themselves when they arrive. On their way there, King started saying that the Audi they were in is an amazing car with good shock absorption, while her second-hand Mini bounces a lot. Xinhua interjected that there are a lot of big shots in King's stream, and even if she is a beauty streamer, she should be able to squeeze some more money from her audience. She could show a little bit more skin, and use a sexier tone of voice. Doesn't matter if you are a dance or beauty streamer, if you lower your standards a bit, you will make those rockets fly in no time, and then she will not need to worry about money anymore. All flustered, King answered that it's not going to work because her audience is all female. Xinhua continued that she would immediately abandon streaming if a rich guy wanted to marry her, and then she would become a full-time housewife. She then asked Gao Wen's opinion on the matter. The beautiful dance streamer answered that being financially stable is more important, because, if you depend on a man, you will be at his mercy. If he is rich, then he will always have beautiful young girls around him, and might change you with another in no time. Xinhua was thinking that Gao Wen is acting all high and mighty when she is the one who is the most provocative during live streams. The dance streamer continued saying that she wants to make as much money as possible and become self-reliant because men may betray you but money won't. The girls have arrived at the parking lot under the restaurant, and after exiting the car, King asked Gao Wen to double-check the address with Xingwang, so they can be sure that they are at the correct restaurant. Xinhua also agreed. They shouldn't show up at the restaurant without a reservation and embarrass themselves. Someone might recognize them and post a video of them in this embarrassing situation. Gao Wen tried to call but no answer. Xinhua, with a fake smile, stated that Xingwang might not be able to answer right now. There is no way that he will deliberately go silent to play them, so they should go upstairs first. She secretly wanted Gao Wen to embarrass herself. While taking the elevator to the restaurant, the dance streamer was thinking that Lingwai is an expensive restaurant that Xingwang cannot afford, so it will probably better for her to cover the bill. The girls arrived at the restaurant, but the protagonist was still not answering his phone. The hostess approached the girls and asked if they have a reservation, to which they answered that yes, and it should be under the name Xingwang. Xinhua was thinking that the protagonist barely makes any money, and a meal in this restaurant costs about 3 months of his salary. She was curious how Gao Wen will be able to get out of this situation. The hostess stated that Mr. Hang was waiting for them, and showed the way. The girls were surprised. While they were escorted to their seats, Xinhua was thinking that Gao Wen is really lucky because the company gives her lots of resources, so she can firmly occupy the number 1 spot, which leaves her on the 2nd position. There are also lots of losers who are trying to get her attention. Xingwang might be one of them, trying to spend big, but he might lose both his money and the girl. Does the pretty Gawain really like someone who pretends to be rich? On their way to the 40th floor, King started to worry that maybe there is someone else with the same name Hong Xingwang, and it might be embarrassing for them to end up at someone else's reservation. Also, the elevator they entered is for VIP customers to access top-floor viewing rooms. The consumption for these VIP rooms is at least 10,000 yuan per person. That statement scared Gawain, and Xinhuo started thinking that it's probably another person with the same name, and even if it's Xingwang, she is really curious to see how is he going to handle this situation, as he definitely cannot afford such prices. Or maybe he knows someone else with the same name that made a reservation at this restaurant and used this situation to troll them. But soon he will be able to expose. At the 40th floor, they were invited in their private room, but the protagonist wasn't there. Taking advantage of the situation, King decided to take some selfies. She invited the others to also take some photos, because you can take them only in the private rooms, and not in the lobby. Even if they don't end up eating, they will still have the selfies. The cutie was thinking that she will post the photos on social media, and nobody will know if she can actually afford to eat there, or she only snuck in. Xinhuo was frustrated that the one who invited them wasn't there to greet them, and coldly answered that she has no interest in taking photos. The cute King was really happy to be in an expensive restaurant, because who knows when will she able to dine again in such a luxurious place. While the hostess was trying to wake up Xingwang, who was sleeping in another room, Xinhuo was asking Gawain if she got a reply, because she doesn't want to make a fool out of themselves because of a misunderstanding. The dance streamer answered that they might have mixed the reservations because Xingwang is a normal office worker, and cannot afford to eat at such an expensive restaurant. The protagonist showed up from the other room, and apologized for falling asleep. He noticed that there were a bunch of missed calls, and hopes that the girls didn't have to wait for long. He then told the hostess that they can start serving the food. The girls were surprised to see him, especially in those clothes. King started telling Xinhuo that all his clothes are branded, and only the jacket costs about 40,000 yuan. The redhead was thinking that Xingwang is probably a rich second generation, otherwise how could he afford all LV's latest season clothes? She was also jealous on Gawain for quietly hooking up with such a rich guy. The dance streamer answered the protagonist that they just arrived. He then greeted King but didn't recognize Xinhuo. The redhead presented herself as Qiu Xinhuo. Xingwang apologized for not recognizing her, with the excuse that he didn't fully woke up yet, and she looks different without the beauty filter. She answered that it's fine, but those comments bothered her quite a lot. Gawain started saying that when she was getting off work, she talked with her to colleagues, and because they wanted to also come, she decided that would be fine. But if the protagonist doesn't agree, then the servers with the food showed up and she got interrupted. Seeing all the fine food and drinks that they were served, the dance streamer started thinking that now they cannot even afford to split the bill. She was worried about Xingwang's behavior. King approached Gawain and asked if the protagonist is a rich second generation, and if he quit his job to inherit his family's business. But the beauty didn't know what to answer because she was also surprised. Xingwang, looking at the food in front of him, was a bit disappointed. Might look nice, but it's definitely not appetizing. King asked if it's okay to take a photo of all the delicious food on the table, to which she received a positive answer. At the same time, Xinhuo asked Gawain, what is going on? Does she know something and doesn't want to say? The dance streamer answered that she knows nothing because she is not that close to the protagonist. They only talked about work stuff. Then she started thinking that Xingwang might actually be a rich second generation, trying to keep a low profile, but because he didn't want to make a girl pay for the meal, he revealed that he is actually rich. The protagonist asked the server if they have food that it's more down to earth and fulfilling. King, impressed by Xingwang saying something like that, stated that last time she was treated to an expensive meal, she ended up leaving hungry, and the food was only good for the photos she posted on her social media. The server answered that they have slow-cooked black truffle beef ribs with salmon roe sauce, pineapple monkfish liver, and a bunch of other pretentious-sounding dishes. The protagonist stated that only hearing the names of the dishes kills his appetite. He wanted intense heat, not slow-cooked. Then he ordered more crab, as well as beef and lamb, all cut into chunks. The server agreed. King, with a surprised tone, said that this is the first time that she saw someone order like this in a high-end restaurant. Xinhuo didn't understand why are they in a French restaurant if the protagonist wants to eat barbecue. While thinking that he might be a person who recently got rich, or possibly an imposter, Xingwang asked the server if the chef can make them some grilled kidneys and some barbecue skewers. She answered that no way. The menu has only set items. Unhappy with the answer, the protagonist requested to speak with the manager, and the server agreed to bring one in a short moment. A little bit of time later, the manager introduced himself and after apologizing for the inconvenience, stated that Xingwang is a French restaurant, where they exclusively serve French cuisine. Xingwang, the snake, hearing that answer, started thinking that only a bumpkin would order another type of food at a French restaurant, and of course that they will refuse. The protagonist, insisting on having barbecue at a French restaurant, stated that he will pay 300,000 yuan for the meal plus a 50,000 yuan tip, if they will serve him grilled kidneys and lamb skewers. That statement surprised everyone. The manager's attitude changed 180 degrees. He agreed to the proposition. The protagonist stated that he preferred the defiant look from earlier, and the manager, changing his attitude, informed that he will instruct the kitchen staff to prepare the requested dishes. A system notification showed up, stating that because the host changed the rules of the restaurant, 500,000 yuan were awarded. Xingwang, looking at the girls, stated that dining is all about relaxation and getting full. The cute King fully agreed, thinking that taking photos of grilled kidneys in a high-end restaurant might be more interesting for social media. A bit later, the food that they ordered arrived, and King was impressed. How much power money have? You can truly do anything. She was thinking that nobody would believe that she's having barbecue skewers at a 3-star French restaurant, on the top floor of the tallest building in Beijing. After all the food was on the table, Xingwang wished the girls bon appetit. After a satisfying meal, the protagonist excused himself and went to the toilet. The girls took on the opportunity to talk about the young rich man. They appreciated his outfit to cost around 150,000 yuan. If you also add the expenses with the dinner, then you have to consider him an extremely rich second-generation heir. King considers the idea that Xingwang worked at the company because he wanted to get close with Gao Wen, who dismissed the allegation, as she doesn't consider herself that charming. Her opinion is that the protagonist didn't want to attract attention while working, but now, after he quit, he doesn't care anymore. The cute King partly approved with the goddess of dance streams, as some second-generation rich kids want to experience life. Then the snake, Xingwang, interjected by asking Gao Wen if she's impressed by the show of opulence put on display by Xingwang, and if she feels any attraction towards him. The cutie added that a top-tier rich kid spent his money lavishly just to have dinner with her. Doesn't that just make your heart skip a beat? Xingwang started to accuse the dance streamer of hiding the protagonist's true identity, because she was too calm after seeing all the money he threw tonight. Also, she didn't care about her top donors, because she already had a bigger fish on her hook. Gao Wen explained that she isn't actually close to the protagonist, so she has no feelings for him. They never interacted in a private environment, and she had no idea that he is from a wealthy family. The fact that he was hardworking and modest left a pleasant impression of him, but he mainly seemed like any other dedicated employee, less like a rich kid, because he would often stay late for overtime during busy periods. The sexy snake accepted Gao Wen's explanation, but she came up with another scenario. What if Xingwang is faking the fact that he is rich? There are plenty of young people who pretend to be rich. They treat pretty girls to expensive meals, rent luxury cars, buy designer clothes, and max out their credit cards in order to keep living this type of life. There are plenty of stories of top donors who are engaging in this type of behavior. It's possible that the protagonist is that kind of person. King stated that he might have pretended to be poor. That type of acting should be commended. Then, Xingwang suggested to verify if he is actually from a rich family, as there are plenty of ways to do that. Gao Wen was reticent to go to that extent. Even if he is a fraud, he still treated them to dinner. It just doesn't seem right. The redhead kept pushing by saying that the beautiful dance streamer shouldn't underestimate her own value. There is a lot to gain from a popular streamer, and spending a couple of thousands is a small price to pay for someone's devotion. That's exactly how manipulative people operate. They make you feel important in order to gain your trust, and then they start using you for their own benefit. Xingwang might be more dangerous than they might think. Gao Wen was adamant about the fact that she will not develop a romantic relationship with the protagonist after this night. Xingwang insisted that she will take care of everything and reveal Xingwang's status by the end of the night. She is only doing this because she cares about her dear friend Gao Wen. A bit later, in the parking lot, all four your people were together, going towards the car. The dance streamer was worrying about the fact that the protagonist might be faking his wealth, and was thinking about covering their expenses at the restaurant. She was hoping that he is not going down a deceptive path. King became curious about the young man's relationship status, and asked if he has a girlfriend, to which he answered that he doesn't, as he has been focused on his career, and that left him without any time for anything else. he started thinking that working for a corporation is demanding enough. Spending the little money you make monthly for a love interest doesn't sound very good. Doesn't sound like a fulfilling life, but quite a miserable one. Not foolish enough to go down that path, the snake proposed to continue the night at a club. As it's still early, she offered to treat them to a couple of drinks at the club called Fugue. The ambience in there is nice, and it's also known as a hot spot for internet celebrities, so they might be able to network and make some connections. The protagonist agreed, and soon enough, they were on their way there. In the car, the rich system user started to think that now he has some money, so opening his own media company might actually be a good idea. Given his background in stream operations, he could find a lot of success. Getting acquainted with some internet celebrities could be advantageous. Once they arrived at the parking lot next to the club, Xingwang stated that the prices at the Fugue Club are quite high, so she can only afford a couple of drinks. She is not being stingy, she just doesn't want to go bankrupt. Everybody was okay with not drinking much. Xingwang didn't really care about drinking, he was really excited to just be at a famous club. Inside the club, the atmosphere was electric. Lots of people were having fun. The protagonist and the three girls were silently sitting at their table. When the server arrived, Xingwang ordered a margarita and asked the others to also say what they want to drink. King ordered a pink lady and Gaowen asked for a mojito without alcohol. As she is driving, the snake asked the protagonist to also say what he wants, but seeing him so distracted by the atmosphere inside the club, made her sure that he is not actually rich, because this seems to be his first time into a club. Because Xingwang didn't seem to care about what he drinks, Xingwang ordered a Long Island iced tea for him. King became worried and asked, why did she order such a strong drink? And her answer was that they came here to drink and have fun. No reason to be worried. After they received their drinks, the snake started saying that there is a really good bartender at a bar called Foyer. The drinks are really good, but also pricey. She would love to go there, if a certain someone would be willing to pay. Hearing this, Gaowen whispered to Xingwang that she should stop. The sexy snake whispered back that people who pretend to be rich need to be punished, and this might actually help him find his way back to reality. But Xingwang wasn't paying attention, because he was looking for influencers who could help him build up his business. Once she got his attention, Xingwang proposed to play a game of dice, and to make it a bit more interesting, the one who loses will strip a piece of clothing. If you don't want to strip, you can pay 10,000 yuan. The protagonist answered that he used to be the company's operation manager, so he knows all her registered information and skills. He knows that the snake is an expert at playing dice, and there is no one who can beat her. This is just a way to trick him into giving her money. He also added that he knows exactly what she's thinking. How can a mere operations manager with no bright future ahead, looking poor, and with no experience affords to buy luxury brand clothes and expensive dinners at high-end restaurants? He was willing to ignore her behavior because she is friends with Gaowen, but this doesn't mean that he's a pushover or stupid. He can see the venom in her eyes. A new system notification showed up. The protagonist was awarded 1 million yuan for refusing to be a people pleaser. Then, Xingwang admitted that he is not from a rich family, and Xingwang rushed to say that she was right. He is pretending, but the protagonist hasn't finished talking. He added that he might not be from a rich family, but he still has money, so he is offering to buy all the clothes the snake is wearing for 300,000 yuan. She refused, claiming the request as outrageous. Gaowen intervened in order to defuse the situation, but Xingwang continued saying the protagonist doesn't have that much money. In that moment, Xingwang shouted that he will spend 300,000 yuan to buy everyone in the club drinks. Nobody leaves until they're drunk. This was part 1 of the Ultimate Wantless Godly Rich System series. We hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, let us know in the comments who is your favorite waifu. See you next time. Bye.